Assalamu alaikum. I'm going to explain how Hhugs helped me and my family, and in what ways it helped us, and the importance of this charity, and the importance of helping this charity and keeping it running. What happened was in November 2009, my house was raided, and it was a huge turning point in our life. That was when my father and my brother were arrested under terrorism charges, and we were left without any men in the family. It was me, my mother, my sister-in-law, my younger sister who was 5 years old, and we were left really in a very, very vulnerable state, without any help, without any explanation as to what was going on. And it was really extremely terrorizing experience from then on. We weren't even allowed to stay in our home straight after the raid. We were escorted to a hotel where we stayed for 7 days, and it was as though we were living in a bubble within the world. We had no communication because we weren't allowed any mobile phones, we weren't allowed any cash, we weren't allowed to bring any of our money, our possessions, anything like that. Cut off from the world, outside world, totally. No diaries as well if we had to contact anyone. So it was, like I said, an extremely vulnerable situation. That is the moment where we as a family and as individuals needed the most help. And even if somebody would ask us in that situation, how are you, or are you okay, it would literally mean the whole world to me. When you're in a difficulty as such, and people, what happens is people tend to, especially in these situations where it's related to terrorism and arrests, people within the Muslim community tend to step back, even if they've known you for many, many years. And this happened with us. People who have known us for 20, 30 years had stepped back, and they didn't want to know us, or they didn't want to be involved, or they didn't want to be seen with us at all or associated with us. There were men from our family who were actually banned from particular mosques. Muslims would actually shun us. They wouldn't reply to our salam. It's a very, very, very hurtful situation to be in. And it's in this situation where when people actually step back from your life and when you need them the most, that's when Hhugs steps into your life and offers you the support, the financial support, the emotional support especially, which is so important and so essential, especially for the women, because they are the most affected when it comes to arrests. Emotionally, they're really, really affected. So that's where they need the help, even if it's like helping you with shopping or prison visits, especially because my father and my brother were actually moved way away from Manchester. They were moved into London, so we had no means of getting to London. So the huge support, the biggest support which Hhugs offered me and my family at the time was prison visits. We would travel all day and all evening, going there and coming back, and we would visit my father for like an hour's visit. Many times what happens is when people are in a situation like mine and my family's, they think, oh, we're going through such a huge hardship, and it's Allah loves us, or it's a huge test to be going through, and they look up to you in a way. But I see it as it's something which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's put us through. It's a difficulty, it's a test, and we have no choice but to go through it with patience. The one thing which I find honourable is not our situation, but in fact the people who help situations like families, like the families supported by Hhugs. Those people are those who are honourable, because they leave their family situations where in cushioned environment, or where they're not going through such difficulties, or when other people fear to help such people, the volunteers of Hhugs and the people who helped Hhugs keep running, they're the ones who leave that aside, who leave those stereotypes behind, and they step in and they help such families. They are the ones who are honourable ones. And I just want to say a special thank you and Jazakallahu khairan for everyone who is supporting this charity. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you abundantly, inshallah. I think it's extremely important for every Muslim and even non-Muslims to see a person who is hurt and in such a distressed situation. It's only a sense of humanity where we should unite, and we must help these people in difficulty. We talk about people who are in difficulty around the globe, in different countries, but what we don't do is, we don't realize that this difficulty actually starts from the very place where we are living. This charity is UK based, it's a registered charity, and it does amazing work up and down the country, and it helps hundreds of families. It's a duty for every Muslim to help Hhugs and to help these families, because if we don't do it, they would be left really distressed, really emotionally, distraught and really broken, to be honest. All these, there are so many families who have smiles on their faces only through Hhugs, alhamdulillah, and it's only right that we help this charity so that it can prosper and we can continue to put smiles on these little children and continue to reunite these people, regardless of whether or not a crime was committed, regardless or not those charges are correct or incorrect, regardless whether or not there has been a miscarriage of justice. Putting all that aside, it's the families who are innocent that are being affected by this, and they need that support from you. Jazakallah khairan, and I hope you will visit their website and donate generously. It's www.hhugshugs.org.uk. Thank you.
والقلب يخافق مسرعا كشعاعي، وعقارب الساعة تجري لاهثا، والموعد المنشود قيد ذراعي، وحبست دمعك في الجفون تصبرا، فانهار سعد الجفن بعد صراعي.